Hello, this is John Adams, and this is a second in a series of tutorials for Photoshop adjustments. Today we're going to talk about color balance and hue and saturation. So we'll be using the same image that we used on the first tutorial where we were covering curves. And today we're going to go over color balance. Color balance is over in the Adjustments palette, and it's the one that looks like a scale. So if you click on this icon, you will get the actual dialog box to show up, and just like this. So in the color balance we have three areas to work in. So there's shadows, midtones, and highlights. The default setting comes up with midtones in the very beginning. So we do have some adjustments that we want to make to this image mainly because of the color in this man's face. So we go into the color sliders, which go from cool to warm, and from magenta to green, yellow to blue, and those are opposites on the color wheel. So in order to make this look, his face look a little bit better, we want to go ahead and increase the blue on this slightly. And I can show you what this does, but we really don't need to do very much in here, because if you go to the red, that'll kind of defeat what we're doing already, and you go to the green, it's going to make things greener, which doesn't look very good at all. So we may want to just go ahead and reset this. You know, if you set it up to a certain point, you can always type in here and type in 0, and it'll go back to that setting in the beginning. You can also reset your all of your color settings and start from 0 all over again by going down here. We do want to keep the preserve luminosity checked, because that sets a consistent adjustment tone for the luminosity and the color value. So that's what I would like to do on here. So let's go ahead and try this to the yellow and blue, and sometimes you don't really know if it needs the yellow. It looks like it does, in order to give it the sand a more natural look to it, because even though it's called white sands, it's really not that white. It actually has kind of a warm tinge to it. So the yellow works well with the colors that we have going. So the other thing you can do when you're working on this, you can always go over to your layers palette and click on the eye on the left hand side, which will show and hide that layer, so you can see what it looks like without it and with. Now there's not a huge difference, but it's enough to make a difference in the image that we're working on. So I'm going to move back on here where we were, and the next thing you wanted to do is go to shadows, and in shadows we want to do the same thing. We may want to warm it up just a little bit, or you can make it cooler. So it doesn't look like that really needs too much. I went only 1 point down, so let's take a look at warming it up or making it more green. Green's not really a great color to adjust because of the fact that it exaggerates things a little bit, and magenta also. So let's try a little of the blues, go a little bit to the right into the blues, and that helps kind of calm down the pinkish tone to his face. Or you can go into the yellow, which seems to take away some of the warmness in his face too. So blue sometimes works well on reds, but sometimes it's actually better. On this case, it looks better to go to the yellow. So that's the shadows. Let's go to the highlights. Let's go ahead and see what a little more red in here for highlights, or a little green, in the magenta, and it could be, you can warm it just slightly. Greens, no, not so much. Magentas, not so much. So we'll just leave it at 0. Yellows, we'll bring that out just slightly, because if you go too far, it's going to look crazy. yellow. Okay, go. That looks pretty darn good. And then you can click on your eye in your color balance in levels to turn it on, turn it back on, and you can see a pretty good difference in here. The color tone is getting much better. One of the other things that you can do in here is you can also create masks, but we'll talk about this later. And other than that, that's all we want to do on color balance. So we're going to go ahead and close this, the properties. And when we click on another adjustment layer or adjustment, it will show another properties palette to work from. So the next area that we want to get into is we want to get into hue and saturation. So hue and saturation is very good as well.